Okay, Emma. So first things first, it's 2019 is so change that to 2019 and get a good image of your final project in there, so you'll have your base and your hurleys on it. Make sure it's a nice image. Maybe a plain white background, so sit it on top of some sheets or in a room with a white wall in the background or something. Get a nice photo of it in there, and your exam number. Second part, so your table of contents, just make sure all the pages on this match exactly what's inside in the portfolio. And there's one section there, joining methods, is not in the template. You need to include that, so maybe copy and paste what you've done in finishes and use that format, so your heading instead of finishes will be joining methods. So copy and paste, so you'll have 2 pages called finishes, but change the heading on one of them to joining methods, and then put in a dovetail as one subheading, and some information about a dovetail and a picture, etc. I'll show you further on what I mean, but you need to add in that section. Okay, Emma. So you have words highlighted there. You need to show a definition for all of them. That needs to happen, Emma. So all of these, maybe from the internet or whatever, you need to include them. Right, next one is that's fine, that's a original document, so I'll have to give that back to you. I won't be writing on it. Maybe you could include a few more. Look at the example I gave you. You can include a few more sections in that for your spider diagram. Evaluation, that should be at the end. I think that's included. That should be at the end, Emma. So have a look at the table of contents to start. That part should be at the end. It looks good though. Yeah, that looks fine. That actually looks fine, but it should be just at the end. Design considerations, need storage. Okay, print material shows. Print material. I will draft on top to hold the glasses. I will have a giraffe on top to hold glasses. Material. There should be a secondary function, a drawer at the bottom of the store pen. Oh, sorry. I will ensure the book holder does not exceed Emma. Right, you need to have a look at that, Emma. So your design consideration should say, so that should say, where is it going to go, who is going to use it, how is it going to be used, and things like that. It's in. You should answer them questions should be answered in it. I'm not sure about this. This seems a little different to what you ended up with. So I'm not sure where you ended up that with. But make sure it answers the questions that I've put in the explanation for design considerations. So why have you chosen that particular brief? Who are you designing the brief for? You don't have to explain what it's going to end up by. Where is it going to be used and how will it be used? So that's your design considerations, and then your design constraints are what are the things that are stopping you from making the thing out of gold or silver or whatever. There has to be some constraints, and the constraints are maybe the amount of time you have. So time is going to be an issue because it needs to be finished by the end of March. There you are, such time, you've put in time. I will do all my planning, sure. My big is cost of certain things to reduce, so I was finding the art to help use every day. Hardware finish. So yeah, so you will have to put a hardware finish. That's fine. That's actually not too bad there. The design constraints. Maybe you could add in one more constraint. Maybe the so this size, the fact that it has to be 450 is the maximum size. Maybe you can put that in as a design constraint as well. Alright, this is not in the right order at all, Emma. Finishes are not near there at all. So that all looks fine. The only thing I'd say is where you're putting that in, just put in a picture of a tin of Danish oil. Makes the thing look way better when there's images on it. So put in a few images on it showing where it's going to go, or showing what it is, a tin of beeswax or something like that. Same here, these are all fine, but put in images of a ash tree or a piece of ash, or just to show the grain pattern on it and show why all these are different. It just makes the thing look more friendly to look at. softwood. This is obviously copied and pasted straight off the internet. I can see it straight away because the format of it is different to everything else. So that is different to that is different to that, and that's what happens when you copy and paste something off the internet. So if you're going to put in something from the internet, make sure it reads like you type yourself. So the wording on it, you're not using words like I don't know, fuzzy surface or something like that. You know, is that a word that you would use yourself? And make sure and put an image of 3 different types of ones. So this definitely, the softwood part needs a look at. Investigation research. So I interviewed my grandfather, who was a carpenter. Very good. I found, yeah, very good. So maybe put down, if you were saying that you interviewed your grandfather, maybe put down maybe 5 or 6 questions that you asked him. Alright, and that is absolutely perfect primary research. Alright. So that's a picture of a hurley that you used, and you did actually buy one. So you know, you can put in the measurements. Say yeah. So you put in that. Very good. So you maybe put this part here where you said you bought the hurlog. Put that underneath that picture there. Put text underneath the picture to show that's what you did. And then say this is one that I saw in a shop or something, like underneath here. I saw this in the shop. So primary research is something you've done on your own, so you haven't pulled it off the internet, which is not what you're looking for. Alright, okay. Next one. So these are pictures. This is kind of secondary research, but that's fine. These are pictures of ones that you've seen, and kind of images of things that you've seen. So seen on the internet. So say that I considered using a giraffe as a theme. I consider using a giraffe as a theme. I consider my product as a secondary function would be able to hold glasses. If it was, this is the size of a pair of glasses. You know, maybe put one sentence underneath all of them. Just explain why you've picked out them pictures. Your mood board, there's a few images out here. You ended up with a hurley, so make sure there's an image of a hurley in there somewhere. Maybe put a picture of a pitch, someone playing, so you know that whatever is here links to the thing that you ended up with. So maybe some GA photos, definitely a hurley around the place somewhere. Alright. Product analysis, that's fine. You've done it under 2 headings, but maybe pick 2 more. So there's about 7 or 8 different examples in that. So maybe pick 2 more headings and compare the 2 of them under them headings. So maybe manufacture might be one. So this is a very boxy shape. There's finger joints here in the corner, whereas this is a curved shape. So you can say the manufacturer this, they use laminating, whereas here they've used finger joints. Laminating is probably a harder thing to do, or a harder process. So there's another bit of product analysis that you've done. Next one, tools, chisel, mallet, tri-square, tenon saw, that's fine. As hand tools, do you find bandsaw, right, you're missing this section. So even though you've bandsaw, carving isn't really a power tool. You know, you could put in bandsaw, you could put in or table saw, you could put in chop saw, you could put in lathe or something like that. So you have to put in them machines, explain what they do and what type of processes they do and what you end up with at the end of it. But you need to fill in the section where that is missing. Same as now the softwoods. Evaluation of research. So basically there's no new information coming out of this. So this is going back to the pages before. So you're going back to the previous pages and you were saying, what did I learn from primary research? Well, I interviewed my grandfather and I found out this one piece of important information. The secondary research, I looked at sizes of things that would be going on it, and one major thing that I found out was the size of a paper that is going to be going in is this particular size, so I need to make sure that that fits it. My material research, I found out that pine is a durable whatever material, and it is cheap. I found out that I can't remember the type of wood that you used in yours, but I found out that that type of wood is strong and could easily hold cups and whatever is put on top of them. So I may choose to use that strong material to make my project. Jointing methods, so I've said that already. So jointing methods should go in before finishes. So I think you would finishes. So use a template like this to make your jointing methods. So make sure it just goes in where it should go. I think it's page 13 and 14, or page 13 if it's only one page. Your heading will be jointing methods, and then your first one will be a dovetail. Explain what a dovetail is and a picture of a dovetail there. Just do 3 or 4 different types of joints and put it in on page 13, please. Okay, all of these need to be, you haven't learned, you will learn. This is all done before you do the project. So don't say I learned, it's future tense. I will do this, I may do this. This is all what I found out from my research and what I'm going to take forward when I go to come up with a design. Time management, okay, double marks for research, that's fine, that looks all fine. Manufacture a book holder in the specified time frame. Design a book holder that includes an innovative secondary function. Develop my accuracy when completing mortise and tenon joints. Right, okay. So, if these are your aims, so these are how you're going to measure them. So if you're going to manufacture a book holder that's specified in the specified time frame, your objective is going to be, this is how you're going to measure it. The project is going to be glued and together with 2 weeks to go so that they have time to finish it. So that's your objective. If you're going to design a book holder that includes an innovative secondary function, the final product will be able to do something besides hold printed material. Develop my accuracy in completing mortise and tenon joints. The mortise and tenon joints will be together accurately with maybe only with max 2 or 3 2mm gaps between any joinings of wood. So that's how you measure it afterwards. Project planning, that's fine, just make sure it's not a copy and paste job from the one I give you. It is different is not a good aspect. Just say it is a unique design. It is a unique design, and unique design, you could say that you're going to have to go into way more detail than that, Emma. There's huge marks going for design, so you're going to have to go into way more detail than that. So it is a unique design, and will definitely stand out in the room it's in. It uses it has a clock incorporated, which is a good secondary function. It meets the brief, you're saying that below there, so you're going to have to find some other good aspect out of it. These won't do, Emma. You need to go into way more detail, way more detail. There's in the template I give you, it gives you some examples, so go into way more detail on that. This one is fine. So sketch is okay, yeah, same, way more detail. Way more detail. It is this, why it is that. So if you're going to say it is neat, it stores things neatly because the newspapers will be all stacked neatly beside each other, stacked upright underneath the glass part of the table or whatever it is. And then if it's meeting the brief, take 5 or 6, the 5 or 6 main words you took out of your brief and use that in a sentence. It has a second function incorporated. It is made out of hardwoods, and it does not exceed the, so you're using words out of the, make it to, it doesn't meet the brief, needs to be 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, this one, yeah, that's kind of the one you ended up with. Bad aspect, it's boring, there are no secondary functions. That's fine. Well, you can put in the glass table as the final one, but you need to go into way more detail now, Emma. They won't do it all. And then you're missing a final design idea. So maybe the final design idea is the bit with the veiny edges. So the same sketch, but the bit with the veiny edges, you can take a photograph of it and put it into the section where it's supposed to go, and maybe put a glass top on top. Maybe you could even put a mug up there lightly, just to show that it holds something on top of it. So you need to have a final sketch of the final idea. Okay, so you're missing sections here now. You're missing your working drawings, Emma. They need to go in. There's marks directly going for working drawings. What else are you missing? You're missing your cutting list. You're missing your cutting list and your working drawings. Have to be in there. Model and prototypes. I don't know if you did one or not. If you did do one, put in a photograph of it. If you didn't do one, take it out. If you took photos up along, you need to put in a collage. Maybe you could include that in there. So maybe you could include, after your cutting list, a collage of photos of you making a thing up along. So include that, but call it something inside here and make sure it's in the table of contents. Right. Yeah, so you're missing all these sections. and you've third-party evaluation in there. That's an option for you if you don't want to put it in. Take it out and don't have it in the pages, right? I mean, the kind of stuff you've done in it is very good, but you're missing huge chunks out of it that will get you the marks you need to get a very good mark in this project. So make sure I'm getting done next 48 hours, please. Thanks.